Okay, getting ready for my next meal prep. All of these items I had already, so I'll show you what I had. These are all in my freezer. I've got the rice veggies, cauliflower rice. I'm actually not a big fan of cauliflower rice. I much prefer rice, but this year I wanted to try new things. So I've been trying the cauliflower rice, and it's good, but I keep it in a separate category from rice. I don't consider it rice really, but I'm gonna make a little stir fry with this cauliflower rice. And I picked up the crispy mango chicken to go with it. I wanted orange chicken, but they didn't have it, but they had this one, so I'll go ahead and try it. And some Asian style vegetables to go along with the cauliflower rice to kind of mix in there and just give it a little something to jazz it up. I'm going to use soy sauce, which I already had, and this little packet of fried rice seasoning I've never used before. I've seen this on other channels. Not sure how it will be, but we'll give it a try. Hopefully it'll add something to the rice, and I'll get to it and I'll show you the finished product. All right, I've got the heat turned up to medium high. I've just added this extra virgin olive oil spray just to kind of coat the pan and help the cauliflower not to stick. And as you see, I've used both packets because I've learned with cauliflower rice, it's basically nothing. So you gotta eat a lot when you do eat it. So I used both packages. I've got it heating up. I'm gonna let that kind of start to break up. You can see this chunk is frozen solid. This bag was okay. And then I'm gonna add the other veggies closer to the end. Okay, so I've got the cauliflower rice cooking here. I'm gonna let some of that water cook out there, and once it kind of dries out a little bit, I'll add the soy sauce and the seasoning packet. I may add the seasoning now and let it kind of meld with some of that liquid. And then I've got the tempura chicken, the mango crispy chicken, ready to go into the oven. It says to preheat to 400 and then cook for like 17 to, I don't know, 20 to 25 minutes. So I've got that ready to go once the oven preheats. Okay, so I've added the soy sauce and the seasoning mix, and I'm just gonna stir it up, make sure it gets all blended. There they are in the corner. So I've added them. I'm just gonna watch it closely because I've got it on high, but I don't want it to burn or kind of get weird. So I'm just gonna watch it and see where this takes us. I didn't measure the soy sauce, but I'll just add more if I need. Now I've added the mixed vegetables, which I had actually completely forgot about. So I'm just gonna cook this until the mixed vegetables get soft, and then taste it. I guess if it's too salty, if I've added too much, I can always cook up some rice and blend the cauliflower rice with regular rice to kind of absorb some of that soy sauce, but I think it'll be fine. This is actually just kind of something I made up because I needed to use up these items and wanted to try something different, but we'll see. All right, so it said to go ahead and mix in the sauce packet, which I've done, and pop it back into the oven for about 2 to 3 minutes or until hot. So we'll give it a shot. Smells interesting. All right, so here it is all finished. Put in the meal prep containers. I've got 4 servings worth. I'll go in a little close to see, but it tastes good. I mean, it's not probably my favorite meal prep. I may have put too much soy sauce in the cauliflower rice, but it'll be fine. It'll help me use up some items from my freezer, and then I can think about what I want to put in my freezer. But this is something I've had in there for a minute, and I've gotten to use it up now. Feels good. But I'll just take you in for a little close-up. You found another blanket. It's not the same as the warm towels, but it'll do. Nice and comfy. So for the next meal that I have to go along with the soup and the Asian cauliflower rice with the chicken, I've got this sandwich bread that I bought. I just was craving sandwiches, so I've got this Naked honey wheat bread. I like this brand. It's really thick slices. That's pretty much all I get when I buy regular bread and not the bread from the bakery, the sourdough from the bakery. Get Tillamook Baby Swiss. I got the thick slice just by mistake, but I think it'll be good. It'll be fun. And then I've got the honey smoked turkey breast and some baked Lay's. So easy, a little boring, but I just kind of needed a little something to fill in the gaps. And this is kind of what I was craving, just the fresh sandwiches, easy, simple, not too much work. And I've got a busy week ahead, so I think my next meal prep will also be easy meals. So we'll see what I come up with, but this is good. I'm looking forward to this. One of my meals this week is going to be a repeat from last week. I still had some items left over that could make another minestrone soup. I didn't use up the whole box of noodles, and I still had some cans of cannellini beans, as well as another vegetable broth. So I just decided to make another batch of soup because I really enjoyed the soup last week and I was kind of sad after I had my last bowl. So I'm just going to make another soup. It'll be a smaller soup because I don't have as many items to use, but I'll show you what I need to make the soup. But first off, I had this vegetable broth already. This will be my last vegetable broth to use up, so I'll have used all the cartons that I had in my pantry. I had another container, another can of cannellini beans. I did buy a second can just in case I wanted to add 2. I know for the last soup I added 2, but since this is a crock pot and it's a small crock pot, I don't know if I'll be able to fit both, but if I can, I will. So had 1 can, bought 1 can. I did have to buy this. I was looking for a small can of diced tomatoes, but all they had were the big ones. And I didn't know if that would be overpowering in a smaller pot. So I bought this. This is interesting. It's a smaller can. It's 10 ounces rather than the 14.5 of these size cans of 15 ounces. So I got this. It's tri-color tomatoes. So this will be a new try for me. We'll see how it goes. I have all the seasonings already for the soup, the Tony Sacheries, which you could totally leave out for this soup. This is just something I add to everything. I have Italian seasoning, parsley, bay leaves. If you don't want to use the Tonys, you can just use salt and pepper. But I just like this. It adds a little bit more flavor, I find. So, and half a box of macaroni. I used this half up with the last soup, so I'm going to use the other half and then finish off a box of pasta from my pantry. I had to buy 1 more zucchini because you have to buy that fresh. These are the carrots I have left frozen. I'm going to chop those up and put them in the soup, as well as the rest of my onion, the rest of my bell pepper, and a little bit more of my celery. I may not use all of this onion. We'll see. And then I did have to buy bell pepper because I had used up all my chopped bell pepper. So I'm only going to use probably about half of one, but I'll chop up the rest and have it frozen and ready for the next meal prep. I like to keep those frozen because sometimes I just don't feel like chopping them on the day that I'm ready to cook. So this is 1 more meal out of my freezer, fridge, and pantry with a few items purchased: the bell pepper, the extra can of cannellini beans, and the can of diced tomatoes, and the zucchini were purchased. Everything else is out of my pantry. I'm not going to show all the steps to making this soup because I did that in my last video, but I'll leave a link down below for you to check out how I make minestrone soup. So just to show you, my crock pot idea was a fail. I thought I could cook this soup in a crock pot, but it was too full, so I had to switch it over to a regular pot, just one of my stainless steel pots, to cook it once I had all the ingredients combined. So I definitely have it on my radar to purchase a bigger crock pot, especially once the summer arrives, because I find they heat up the house a lot less. If you're cooking something on the stove, it'll heat up your house a lot more. But here is the finished product of the soup once I've added it to the pot. It's not actually finished here, it's just added to the pot, and I'm gonna cook it and let it cook together, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. All right, here's the soup in my bowl, and I wanted to show you, I also have this Parmesan cheese I'm working to finish. So I'll finish that this week with the rest of the soup and a few more items down, and then next week I'll have to be a little more creative, I think, because I'm running out of full meals to make. So I'll have to see, I'll pull out what I have left in a few days and take inventory and try to come up with some ideas of what I can cook.